So just for a minute, imagine getting ready to go into a meeting with the owner of your company. You get to the owner's office and the secretary says it will be a couple minutes. So you take a seat and you pull out your phone and you check X to see what's actually going on. And there you have it. You see a report from Shams saying you're probably going to get fired. I have to say, this is one of the best stories of all time. That is exactly what went down in the Nico Harrison gone fishing canning a little bit earlier in the day. We're going to get into that story. A whole lot more around the Dallas Mavericks and what this all means for the Los Angeles Lakers. And of course, how well Luka Doncic is actually playing. You know, good old Nico Harrison went from being a genius to whatever the actual opposite of being a genius is. I want to know what your thoughts and opinions are, North America. Go ahead and drop them in. Do you think the Dallas Mavericks waited too long to fire Nico Harrison? Do you think they should have not fired Nico Harrison? I mean, the Mavs are like 3-7 right now and currently the second worst team in the Western Conference. Of course, they'd be significantly higher up if they actually played in the Eastern Conference because that conference is full of one-win teams. All right, welcome back to the NBA Rundown. As always, North America, I'm Dave DeBaugh coming to you from the Silicon Valley. Super quick, new to the channel, 2,500 plus subscribers in. Please go ahead and subscribe. And of course, smash that like button. All right, I really want to know what your thoughts are today on this Nico Harrison firing. Should the Dallas Mavericks have simply done it last year before he even had the chance to actually trade Luka Doncic? And I think if you ask all of the fans that were still yelling and screaming, fire Nico last night at the Dallas Mavericks home game, a game in which, of course, Giannis and the Milwaukee Bucks ended up winning by 2, I think it was pretty safe to say that the time had come, if you will, for Nico Harrison, as the inside the NBA folks are probably going to say in their next broadcast, to actually go fishing. He's officially gone fishing at this point. So when you think about this particular drama that happened with Luka actually ending up with the Los Angeles Lakers, and of course, Luka during the season in which Luka actually led the Dallas Mavericks all the way to the NBA Finals, he was a 34-9-9 player. And somewhere between that and the time, like 9 months later, that Luka actually got traded to the Los Angeles Lakers, something went down in Nico Harrison's mind about Luka Doncic. Somehow he forgot that Luka Doncic, quite frankly, is a top 5, maybe top 3 player in the National Basketball Association. And for whatever reason, he went ahead and somehow pulled off a trade with Rob Pelinka, who probably to this day still can't believe he actually pulled off that Luka Doncic deal. So, of course, the Dallas Mavericks fans, as they should be, were going to be upset because they know and knew at the time that apparently Nico was the only person in Dallas that didn't know this, that Luka, despite putting on a couple extra pounds, was still one of the top 5 players in the NBA. So now that Luka has got his sea legs underneath him in Los Angeles, and so far this season, at least in the games he's played, he's averaging 37-9-9. And clearly, if he plays enough games this year, Luka will certainly have to be considered for this year's Most Valuable Player of the Year award. Big question on whether or not he'll play enough games and what's going to happen when LeBron comes back, because we know LeBron can be ball dominant, and we know that Luka needs to be ball dominant as well. We also know that Luka and his Batman, which is Austin Reeves, are actually having a hell of a year as well. Austin is currently averaging over 30 points a game, just coming back from injury last night. and is looking fantastic when both of those players are actually on the court at the same time. In terms of the Nico Harrison firing, I certainly don't wish people get fired or lose their gigs. Nobody ultimately wants to see that happen. But you can't trade away one of the best players, possibly one of the best players of all time, in his actual prime, and expect there not to actually be significant backlash, which is exactly what happened with Nico Harrison. The Dallas Mavericks fans, and of course the Los Angeles Lakers fans, have been rejoicing ever since a heavier set Luka Doncic actually landed in Los Angeles. Now, we all saw the men's health articles over the summer, and of course some of us were a little skeptical that thin Luka was really thin Luka. Some of us thought maybe he was, if you will, Photoshop brushed thin Luka. But as it turns out, thin Luka is thin Luka, and Luka is actually back on track. Once again, 37-9-9. As for the Dallas Mavericks organization at this point, Nico Harrison, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, went from being a genius to whatever the opposite of a genius is. In that season where the Dallas Mavericks went all the way to the NBA Finals with Luka Doncic, of course, Nico Harrison made some great trades. He made the deal for P.J. Washington and Daniel Gafford and a couple other pieces, but the rim protectors were certainly key to the Dallas Mavericks actually having the ability to match up better against some of the big teams in the NBA. It's actually something I think Rob Pelinka is actually going to have to do for the Lakers this year if the Lakers are seriously going to have a shot at going all the way. Once again, love to know your thoughts and opinions. It's a good day for the Dallas Mavericks fans who will, quite frankly, never ever forgive Nico Harrison for what he did with Luka Doncic. Once again, drop your comments in. I want to hear from you, North America. Seriously, imagine getting ready to go into a meeting with your boss and then waiting to go into the office to meet with him or her, and then seeing a message on X that you're about to get canned. All right, once again, that's how it all went down in Dallas a little bit earlier. As always, I'm Dave DeBaugh coming to you from the Silicon Valley for the NBA Rundown. Well, I'm wishing you a tremendous rest of your sports viewing day.